Hey, homies, what's up? We are live. Welcome to a very, very special late night inks. Not only are we live, and this is kind of a new thing we are doing, but we are going to have a very special guest, Robert Geronimo. So I'm going to play the intro in just a sec. There he is. Look at that, sliding in like he's part robot, got the wheels and stuff.
And the wires?
And the wires, connected to his head. Co-creator of Wirehead.
Oh, creator, what the hell?
Okay, creator of Wirehead. He is the main man, the oil that gets that machine going. The other half would be Mike O'Shea. And since I'm a noob with all of this, we were just going to try one guest tonight. And that is the main man, Robert Geronimo. So, welcome to the show. We are going to be inking Wirehead tonight, the creation that we are talking about. This is the final night of the first 30 days of the Wirehead campaign. It is super close to being funded, and we're going to see if we can maybe get a few people to go check it out tonight and click through. The link is in the description down below. You can go check it out. They got 148 backers. They are at 64.19, 80%. 8,000 goals. So close. But luckily we get the opportunity to extend, get more backers, find more readers out there that are going to be super stoked on this cybernetic slasher. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it from your end?
Oh no, you just that was beautiful what you said. Keep going if you'd like to, unless you're done.
Well, I'm excited about it because I love the old EC comics. I love 80s horror slashers. And to me, this is the perfect mashup of those two sorts of things.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, because the 80s movies were saturated with color and the EC comics were completely black and white and just really played off the strength of using black to create mood and tone and fright and horror and things like that. And dread, that's the best thing, dread.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I feel Mike O'Shea, former student, we have to mention this every time. It's a contractual obligation between Mike and Robert that you always have to mention that Mike is a former student of Robert's. Always. It's sort of a keeping Mike in his place thing, and it's also sort of a, you know, kissing up to Robert because he's going to be king of the world one day, and we want him looking kindly upon us.
See, you get it, Ryan. That's what I'm trying to explain to Michael. You understand, so that's important. And I don't want like a a Darth Vader Palpatine thing. I don't need him throwing me over into some kind of like galactic vacuum. So gotta keep him in line.
I'm writing down galactic vacuum and stealing that for a Gods and Beers thing.
That's pretty good, right?
Hey, what's this character? He's kind of like a galactic vacuum. Oh, does he suck? Yeah. So yes, I personally am very excited, not just because we're friends and I like Blood Realm and stuff. We're actually friends because I like your art. You're lucky, buddy. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks,
but we became friends through both being published at Alterna.
Yes.
And it's a real pleasure to be friends with someone who's like such a talented creator. I mean, you're the writer, you're the artist on Blood Realm. You do the whole thing there, and then you're reaching out with your contemporaries. I'm gonna call Mike your contemporary. Just to bring you down a notch and bring him up a peg.
He deserves it. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Oh, you know what? That should be his crowning achievement. We'll stop calling him your student when this gets funded.
Definitely. Yeah. My contemporary.
That's it. So I retract my contemporary assignment to young Mike O'Shea, and he is back to being art student until this project is funded.
There you go. He's got to earn it. He's got to
tell your friends, get out there and back Wirehead.
Yes.
So what we are doing here tonight, we are doing an ink-along, and this is the first time for a lot of us doing this live and having a guest and having the guest creation as the ink-along. And what's an ink-along? Yeah, it is awesome. It's the opportunity for you or Robert to ink along. The inks or the pencils are both provided in the description down below. You can download and print them up, throw them into your Procreate or Clip Studio app. Get busy with us. You do not have to ink it like me. You do not have to ink it like Robert. You just have to ink it. That's the whole thing. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be you getting the gall and the nerve to take pen to paper over someone else's pencils, and I think
That's
you can
right.
do it.
Oh yeah. But I want to learn to ink like the master, Ryan. So I want to actually really try and ink like you today. So it's going to be fun.
All right. Well, first you have to be really cocky.
I mean, come on, it is master, right? The ink master. I mean, damn.
Well, no, it's the king. I've elevated myself, and these this day and age, you want to be careful with that other word, What are you trying to do here, man?
Whoops, demonetized.
No, that's great. But yeah, I've given myself the ink king, but my crown is made of paper and it's taped on, so it's nothing flashy.
Hey, it's a crown. That's the thing.
So feel free to ask us questions. I'm going to be head down inking for a bit. I'm going to go check the chat right now, see who we've got, say hello to everybody.
Sure.
And then we'll come back to the chat in a bit and catch up on the questions and all the nonsense from around the world.
All that
so
nonsense.
Welcome, Colin Swinburne.
Hey, what's up,
NITE
Colin?
Yes. Hey, we got Julius Freeman comics.
Ooh.
We all know Julius Freeman from the Ghetto Tiger, which is currently running on Indiegogo.
Oh, really? Check it out.
Another one I should see. This is the thing I do when I've gone live and I start talking about people in the chat or projects I like. I'm like, oh yeah, I should have put that in the description. Oh yeah, I should have put that in the description. So half the show is me saying I should have put stuff in the description. We got Rooster Puncher from Death Curse.
Ooh, what's up?
Saying, hey dudes.
What's up, brother?
We got Mr. Randy Scribner Jr., who unfortunately last week he was out of the picture on YouTube, having internet problems, but he's back strong. I've been catching him on all sorts of streams. Good to see you, Randy.
Welcome back, Randy. Missed you.
We have Hyper Kaiju to keep us straight as we get off track.
Yeah, so Wirehead takes place in the Pocono Mountains. That's why Hyper Kaiju saying that. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go there at night. Bad things happen up in those hills, like Wirehead.
All I had ever heard were the Poconos is a beautiful place to visit. And
it is.
Now I never, ever want to be anywhere near there. And I haven't even read the book yet, just the imagery alone.
Wait. Yeah, exactly.
We have Mandible Smasher, who is known to many from hanging out and moderating over on the Skits channel.
Oh, cool. What's up, Mandible? Gotta check out the Skits channel. Maybe they'll have me on.
Yes, they had another group that had internet problems the last couple of weeks, and I had to write to them and tell them that hey, get your internet fixed. I like watching your show. Come on.
Oh wow.
Geez, it's about me here. So hey, we have Corey King in the house. Corey participates in almost every ink along. He kicks butt. He's inking all sorts of people's stuff. He's always slinging ink over Stegman, a bunch of other people.
Wow.
Awesome inker. And in the last 6 months, 8 months to a year, this guy has he's really stepped up his game big time.
Oh, great. Awesome.
And we got Colin. I need to know how much more horror do you have in the world of Wirehead?
Oh, we have a lot planned for Wirehead in terms of like the world building. So it's the intention. Oh, and he loves Blood Realm. Thank you, Colin. The intention is to build a slasher universe. So Wirehead may or may not be the only slasher in his own universe. And it's kind of like a universal monster version, but all different types of slashers. So and these are things I dream of, that haunt me at night, and I'm going to put them on paper and terrify you guys now. Hey, Eric.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, thank you very much, Eric. We are two of my favorite alternate creators as well.
Same.
And we got my homie William C. here. Okay, I don't know anything about inking. I may be charcoaling. Hey,
that'd be cool.
I love that. I love that. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to collect. I have a bunch of participants that I need to put a video together and share. Homie David Hayner, big alternative fan, has done a bunch of ink-alongs that I gotta share and stuff. So
awesome.
We'll be sharing those. I'm ready to get started. Sorry about that, everyone. This is taking us a little longer, but I wanted to give everyone a shout out and get it started. So I'm going ink to jar now.
Okay,
and,
so What are your materials? I just
So
have ink pens right now. Brush
okay, yeah, I'm well, I got my Bristol board that I printed my image up on,
pen.
and I have my trusty 8404 brush called Stinger, and that's
Mm.
because she is super sharp. And my cat will be quiet in 1 second.
Oh, what's the matter? Is
He's
she
just
hungry?
passing by. He's just passing by, and he likes to chit chat.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, he just walks by, and he just like he's not asking for anything. He's just meow 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 meow. All right, and then
Oh.
he'll go and lay down for 6 hours. All right, so that's my brush is the 8404 Raphael, and I'm using this
Nice.
simple ink,
India
Rapidograph
ink?
Black India. Yep.
Okay. Oh, rapidograph.
Um,
That's nice stuff.
I'm going to be trying out. You recommended an ink to me the other day. What are you using? The Black Magic
Do you know?
or Dr. Martens? I meant to
Yeah,
say, not Black Magic.
this is in my opinion. Well, I haven't used yours, but it is India ink. But this stuff right here is, where's that camera? It's in my opinion, the best. It dries like this, and you could do white gel pen over it. I love this stuff.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, the Rapidograph's okay. Sometimes I switch it up. Sometimes I like Speedballs. They're super pigmented acrylic, which lays on really nice with a nib.
Mm-hmm.
But this universal, it doesn't lift much when I erase, and that's one of my things about inks is that I don't like the inks to lift a lot when they erase.
Yeah, no, I know
Stay
that's
pretty
the worst.
black.
These, that's how I feel with this personally. So, but if the rapidograph is like that, that's awesome. My Raphael is shot, as you can tell. I can't even get it to a point anymore. So I have the same brush as Ryan, but it's time for a new one. I finally ordered one, but we're on like a lockdown again here in New York, so I can't go to my art supply store. And also, the art supply store that I went to and that I frequent is closed, unfortunately, now because of Corona. So now I have to turn to Amazon to get my supplies. So we'll see. Hopefully, it shows up soon because I certainly miss my Raphael Kolinsky brush. Okay, so line. So now, when you're doing that, what are you doing? The jacket right now, right?
Yes.
So now, is there when you attack certain things, you say, okay, I want this jacket, like this part of the jacket here, to have a thicker line because I want this to come forward because it's a little bit more in the foreground compared to the rest of the jacket.
Correct.
Okay, so all right, so that's something you consciously think about, right?
Yeah, like even this line here, I've sort of got a subtle thin to thick, even though the whole
Yeah,
line is thick. I'm definitely beefing it up at the bottom, and then I'll probably end up beefing up this line. That's my term for
beefing.
for thickening it up, is we beef it up around here.
Mm,
So I usually go through and do like a general pass, and I keep that in mind, the lighting,
right.
and then I'll do a second pass where we sort of really push some of the shadows and things like that.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't tend to go as thin as I like. If I was inking someone else, I would have like really thin lines on the highest points and things
Hmm.
like that. For myself, I tend to keep like a general kind of bold line around everything, just for my style.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, because your
yeah,
style's pretty. Would you say your style's relatively clean?
yeah, definitely. Because it's kind of based on clean movements, clean sweeps, and things
Yeah.
like that. So even if I rough up the brush or use a rough brush, which I've got a couple here, I was maybe going to play with for some textures on the jacket.
Mm,
Um, I tend to sort of have like clean movements still. Like the brush stroke itself is clean, but the messed up brush will give me the jaggedy line or the dry brush or the texture.
mm.
Um, Sometimes I don't like that so much. Sometimes it looks too clean for me, and because I like a little variety in texture, but it is what
Yeah.
it is.
No, I found this exercise really helpful and fun because I'm I guess I would say I'm a more aggressive in my line work, and so this kind of sometimes doing stuff like this that's the opposite. Kind of helps you focus and be more aware of the type of lines that you make.
Yeah, because you're not limited either. I think that's a lot of
Yeah,
people kind of get trapped in like, well, this is my style or whatever.
yeah.
Um, but there's so many different types of markings and pens and ways that you can make varied markings with the same pen. That's one of the things I try to teach with the brushes. Where let's see, I'm gonna do this big line here on the upper side of his coat
Mm,
collar,
yeah.
and it's gonna be thicker up here, and it's gonna thin out in the middle, and then we're gonna thicken up a little where it goes to meet this other end. Um, but I'll hold the brush thusly to make the line. But if I want to beef up this angle, I'll switch it down the brush past my knuckle like that,
Mm.
and I'm gonna give myself like a nice thick chisel there, and then I'll clean up
Very
that
cool.
edge, and then go thin to thick to thin again.
Ah.
So it's I'm always trying to teach just like with this same brush, you can just adjust your hand a little and get a completely different shape out of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's one thing that I was a big takeaway when I started to learn inking is that you don't need so many different size brushes. You can achieve different type of density, line weight, and all that stuff with just one brush. It's all about the pressure you put and kind of like how you said, where you place the brush in your hand.
Yeah, because I one of the other things, and I repeat myself a lot just so that anyone that watches these over and over again, it kind of becomes like muscle memory in their brain.
Oh yeah, of
Um,
course.
so one of the other things, like I've just loaded up the brush. I have a little scrap paper that I'll kind of wipe the brush on to sort of get the excess ink and kind of sharpen the tip on.
Hmm.
Um, but it's still loaded with ink. So if you go sideways at all, she's just gonna lay down like a heavy line. But
Mm,
then I try to remind people that you can hold it upright, your brush
yeah.
upright, and only the fine hairs on the very tip will drag then.
Oh
So
yeah.
the brush
Yeah.
is fully loaded, but I can get a hair thin line.
Oh yeah. At a certain point, you could like put eyelashes on a fly. It's like with just the right amount of pressure with that same brush.
I like that. Eyelashes on a fly.
Yeah.
That should be a challenge we have. How do we capture a fly? It's sort of our Karate Kid
Oh god.
thing where we don't have to capture the fly with chopsticks, but you have to ink on eyelashes onto the fly. Next
Ooh.
week on Late Night Inks.
Yeah. And the guest will be PETA.
Flies are important too. You can. I'm not harming him. I'm doing a little makeup job.
Just making them look a little pretty.
Yeah, I'm not literally testing makeup on animals. I'm
Right.
not like that, Peter. Come on, give me a break. And Peter's gonna be like, "Wait, what? You guys talking about me? What?
I know.
No,
PETA,
Pete."
Peter, PETA. Come on, PETA. There you go.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to trying that ink. I haven't tried a new ink in literally years.
Yeah, it's my favorite personally. So you never used that ink before?
Not that specific one. I've when I was
Oh,
young, I'd use different Doc Martens inks and products, but not that one. And I've heard nothing but good stuff, not just from you, but other people.
yeah, it's great. Colin says draw a stream challenge for next week. He goes draw a fly. Maybe. You know
Hmm,
what? You know what, Colin? You just gave me an idea.
not a bad prompt.
Just don't tell Dave, so then he's gonna start prepping. He's taking this very seriously. He's not joking around. He's doing
Yeah,
warm-ups. Damn it.
I'm hoping he doesn't show up for tomorrow night's Friday the 13th. I'm like, come on, give me a chance. Give me a chance, Dave.
He's fast, man. I feel like that's the designer in him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that's why
Such a
Charlie Snogans too is like that quick. What are you saying? Such a what?
oh, I don't know. I was just thinking about like yeah, it is funny like some people can crank out things, and it's funny that how different their styles are. Where Charlie's is, rapid fire, loose, old school Todd McFarlane style kind of inks and energy, and Dave is really clean, like solid forms, shapes, based around all that. But they both produce intense work rapidly, very quickly. Dave's creature busting out of the dirt the other night. I mean, he was even all modest, like, oh, well, it's like the thing from, I just watched Mandalorian, it's like the sand dragon or whatever. And you're like, okay, just because you saw something, doesn't mean like you can just anyone can reproduce it. Awesome. Take the credit, man. You made something awesome. I just saw this. All I did was see this and make a masterpiece.
Yeah, I love the energy in that one.
They've all been great. Yeah, thank you for having that.
Oh, dude, you can. I'm grateful that you guys want to come on and do it. It's a blast. I have so much fun. I look forward to it every week.
Yeah, my old butt. It reminds me of working in studios with people, which I really miss.
Yeah, same.
Totally brought that back.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you. This is sort of how I operate on the show. Is I will be telling a story, we'll be discussing something, then out of nowhere, I'll start talking about the technique.
Sure.
and then we'll get back on topic and discussion and stuff. So I normally do as much of the contour lines or the outlines as possible. Or I ink wherever is just like kind of free to ink and the brush has the right amount of ink for those lines. So I kind of have those couple approaches. Do you have certain techniques? Are you just kind of always like, however you feel, or you start with the eyes, or you start with the coat, or you different all the time? What do you do?
Yeah, I like to, I don't know why, I noticed mostly I start with the big feathering out kind of like the edge lines of the big blacks. So I have those big shapes, and then I kind of I always go for like the facial stuff last. Yeah. I'm not quite sure why I do that, but yeah, I always I do the contour first of all the big shapes.
Do you think it's like a warm-up thing? Like you
can
do a certain amount and then go to the important part once you've warmed up?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Let me see. If I have, oh no, I don't have it. Oh, here it is. Well, it's not quite right, but this isn't one of them. But I have a lot of these little pads where I just practice line. This isn't one of them. This was a spill, but to warm up and then just to get comfortable again with the brush, and you probably do this too, right? You dip the brush into the ink, and then you kind of just put it on the pad, and you just kind of just twirl it a little bit to get that fine tip, get the excess ink off, so you get that nice sharpness at the end.
Oh yeah, I've got a big version of this.
Yeah, there you go.
Taped down, and I'll dip. Yeah, I'll show you right now. I'll dip, and then I do the same thing. I'm going to move this so I don't splatter on it. I'll dip in the jar, and on the lip of the jar, I'll do this on the lip of the jar before I pull it out, and then on the piece of paper, I'll give a couple swipes like that.
Yeah.
But just a slight twist. You don't want to twist the hairs, but you just want to like, bloop, just like just a slight, and the brush will find its tip. You can also, if you're not worried about flicking, a way for brush to find its own tip is basically you can flick it on an edge like this, and the brush will.
Oh, that's nice.
It'll find its own taper.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. I like that.
And then also, on that note, if not just for you, Robert, I give these tips for.
Oh, please.
You may know this, but after you're done washing your brush, if you tap the ferrule here like that, it removes a little excess water and also sort of springs the brush back into place.
What I usually do, I do something similar. I dip it into the water once it's done. I take it on a piece of paper towel, and I just kind of twirl the excess whatever water and ink off. And then sometimes I press it down a little bit with a paper towel, sometimes just to get a little bit off, and then I snap it. And then that thing just stands right at attention.
Nice. I like
Yeah,
that. I like that paper towel technique. I'm gonna try that.
little cheap tricks, right? Gotta love those cheap tricks.
Oh heck yeah.
Uh, mm, yeah, I can't wait to get my brush. It's like I like brush pens, but there's just nothing like the brush.
No, there's nothing like the brush, and I think I figured out why I like the brush more than anything else. Even though I love all like I just love all pens, pens and tools. They're all fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the brush, this takes me back to when I first started inking with Danny Mickey, and he was inking with a brush, and I knew a little bit about it. I had done some brush inks, and one of the questions I had was, is there ever a point where you've been inking long enough with a brush where you can actually feel the bristles hit the paper?
Ooh.
Because with a pen, you feel that drag and you have to scratch into the paper with a nib, and even
Mhm.
with a marker, even like a felt tip marker, like a micron or a pit pen, you bear down to thicken it up, and you
Sure.
feel it. You feel all that, and it takes a certain amount of strength. Where the brush, you literally do not feel when the brush hits the paper.
That's
And
true.
I was
Wow.
like, dude, so when do I get to the point as an ink master where I feel the brush? And he's like, you don't. I'm like, oh, what, really? And throughout the years, that's kind of been what's been the thing that is so cool about the brush to me. And digital came close to the feel because you're going on the glass and
Mm,
it's smooth, but you still feel that pen. There's still a weight thing going on, and there's something about the brush, the physicality of it, that is just, it's so interesting to me. It's almost like you're flying with the brush.
oh, yeah.
Um,
There's something organic about it. Uh, it's it's very different, and I don't wanna say it's not as mechanical, but I just feel like there's this easier transition or more genuine transition from your hand, to the paper, and, like, the brush is the conduit. That's how I
mm,
feel.
ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I feel like I make my most genuine lines, like lines that are most representative of my style and my voice is with brush. I feel like it's the brush can't lie in a way, you know. That's how I feel.
Ooh. That is true. Because yeah, the brush shows every waver. The brush shows
Exactly. Every
every. I
jitter.
mean,
Yeah.
it shows all. Yeah.
Yeah. See, like with I don't know, with a pen, you can still kind of control it. So if you still have a jittery hand, you can still control it. But if you have a jittery hand sometimes with brush, I don't know, it also looks sexier. I don't know what it is. Anything in ink and brush just makes, any kind of line looks like, ooh, that's nice.
No, there is something to that. I almost think that's why there's something to I mean, it used to be fewer, but now there's a lot more. But like a lot of uh, women used to prefer inking when I was younger. Like when I meet artists, they were just like, I just like the graceful, like
Mm.
almost. I mean, I'm not calling inking feminine. I mean, come on, ink like a man, right? Come on. I mean, geez, right, guys? I mean, geez. But
Yeah.
like, but no, but there was something like graceful
Mm.
about it that they liked that they didn't find that satisfaction in penciling.
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it. And I hated inking prior until until I had a brush, and once I was handed a brush, I was like, "Get this out of my hands! Like, are you crazy? I'm not gonna brush. I'm not gonna ink with this thing. Like, I never really use brush." And the next thing you know, I was like, "Wow, this is weird. The line is going exactly where I want it." I always had a hard, I always had a hard time, and I was so shocked by the control I had. I thought that it was the opposite.
Yeah, that's another thing I try to teach people is about like getting over the fear of the tool,
Yes.
because that will like that'll just slow down everything. And
Hmm.
man, you've made some great points about the way the brush works and almost responds as an extension of the hand.
Oh yeah.
Especially with the way it springs and bounces, that you just don't get that with a pen or a stylus.
You don't. You don't. It just, and that's why I feel like inking with a brush, it just looks more genuine, because I brush 95% of Blood Realm with the Raphael Kalinsky Series 4. And I feel like the art in Blood Realm is the truest, version of my line that you can get, and I think its majority of it is because it's the brush. Because like we said, the brush can't lie.
That's I want to, or you should. Somebody needs to make stickers of that. The brush can't lie.
The brush cannot lie.
I was like, I'm gonna make stickers of Robert's idea he just said and has always had. I'm gonna lay claim to that right here publicly.
Uh-oh.
I've colonized your
Oh
idea.
no, I officially coin it now. Boom. Done. It's
Damn,
been coined.
all right, it's yours. That's why you're the teacher. I'm not saying I'm the student. I'm just saying you're the teacher.
No, I'm the student right now, Ryan. I have to be honest with you. I'm watching the way you do it. Yeah, you got that nice weight going on. So cool.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna catch up with the chat right now.
Sure, go for it.
Leave
me time to catch up.
Keep inking away.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that's another thing I want to inform or remind people is if you're inking along, you don't have to ink as fast as me. I've been doing this for your entire lifetime, probably. So I move pretty quick. You guys do not have to move at the pace that you want to move at, and you will speed up as time goes by. Dang, we got tons of comments I missed. Let's catch up.
Got a full house today. I like it.
Yeah, looking like we do. See, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. See, this is the other thing that happens.
Well, we're not live.
I know. Oh my gosh, that'd be incredible and not surprising at all. But no, I'm so sorry, Julius Freeman. It's Ghetto Dragon. I called it Ghetto Tiger, and I knew as soon as I said it, I'm like, oh crap, I don't think that's it. But don't take offense, Julius. I want to call Robert Roger the entire time. So that's right? How my brain works when I'm live. Yeah, I've hesitated calling you Roger about 5 times during this stream. I just didn't say your name. No, it has something to do with the Geronimo in your name, because it's something that's actually hit me ever since I've known you. I've almost stumbled every time I've been on a live stream with you. I'm like, God, I almost called him Roger. That's gonna be so weird. I'm gonna do it one day. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna call him Roger.
I think you have. You know what? I think you have. And you know what? I didn't quite know how to correct you, but I'm glad we got that out of the way now.
No, but it's one of those things where I'm like, anyone watching is gonna think I haven't known this guy for years. like, and it only happens live.
Fake friends.
Only happens live. If I'm talking about you at a convention or at a shop or something, I'm like, oh yeah, my homie Robert Geronimo. Like, it just comes out normal. But on the live stream, I think it's just because you have that, when you're doing anything live, you've got that secondary voice of yourself judging, and it's like, don't call him Roger. And then I'm like, Roger. Damn.
Oh God. Well, you went and did it now.
All right, we've got Simon7 is in the chat.
Hello, what is up?
7. And Simon says, "Brush can't lie." Sounds like a Queensryche song. Indeed, it does.
I coined it. It's too late. I coined it.
Queensryche is like, no, it actually is a song of ours. Oh, hey, check this out, homie.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Mandible Smasher just backed Wirehead plus the Blood Realm Giants.
Thank you so much, Mandible. I really appreciate the support. Oh my God, that's awesome. You got like over 240 pages of reading now with that bundle you got. It's fantastic.
Now tell us, what is a Blood Realm Giant?
Oh, so a Blood Realm Giant is the complete volume in the series. So volume 1 is Dark Covenant, and each one is about 80 to like 90 pages. So volume 2 is Shadow Kingdom. So you're going to get Wirehead, which is over 80 pages, and then the two 80-page giants. So you got a lot of reading ahead of you. So that's fantastic. And I'll sign everything for you too as well. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Mandible's great.
Yeah.
And
Thank
even
you.
greater now. You were already a fave. Now you get a thumbs up,
Oh,
Mandible.
now I take 2 thumbs. 2.
Oh wow, fit that in there. Woo.
Let's see.
Oh, see, Ty Ion coming in. It's cool, Ryan. You never pronounce my name like I do either.
It's Ty Ion?
I don't know. I'm being told I'm saying it wrong. So
Oh, and you told me to say that last time on my stream. See what you did? Now you're gonna get me in trouble. God, look at this. Make me look bad.
well, Simonin says at least I don't say Roger Roger like those androids in episode 1.
Oh, come on. I like those androids.
Robert Robert.
Robert.
Hello, Ferris. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Ferris always has great questions too.
Hello,
Speaking of art
Ferris.
questions, we have one here from William. He says, Ryan, I have a problem seeing what specific line to draw. I tend to see in color and value, not line. Is there some guru way to translate that into line?
Mm.
Oh,
All right.
interesting. Okay.
See, I tend to
That up for
see
a second.
color and value, not line. Is there a way?
So, William, do you mind if I show a couple pieces of your art that would sort of explain that? Let's see. I'm sure he'll be cool with that. But because I like William's pieces, he's been doing draw-alongs. He joined us on yours. He did a
Yes,
bunch
he
of
did.
Fragtobers.
Oh, cool.
So I know exactly what he means, and it's an interesting question. Because this is getting into that. He said, "Yeah, that's fine." Ha ha ha. Where we've talked about, being like illustrator versus graphic designer.
Right.
And that's whether you're using pen or pencil. It doesn't matter what tools you're using. It's just how we think differently.
Sure.
So here's an example of a dragon William did for the teeth prompt.
Oh, is
Which,
that an original? Oh, that's a. Oh, I see.
whoa, slid away.
Oh, that's your iPad.
It's just on my iPad. Yeah, it's his photo. You can see his marker weapons of choice.
I see.
And you can see that there is, I mean, this is a strong graphic design element. You break it down, there's this big orange square. Then to counter the squareness, the rectangular square lines of that head, you've got
Right.
the curving dragon tail. So you've got your line and your curve, which is basic design 101, is lines against curves, or lines with curves. And in this sense, we have a lion with lines and curves. And so I totally see what he means, that he saw this in a chunk of stuff, and the line just happens to go around the chunks of shapes he's used. Like, he wasn't thinking of this as a line drawing. He saw this as these colorful forms. So he's wanting to know if there's a way to reform the way he thinks into thinking of line first. I think I've got that right.
I would. Let's see. Well, if he sees value, so then think about line as value. And let's see if I can get a scrap piece of paper here real quick.
Oh, okay.
So let me get a. Hold on. I know I got one of them things lying around, or maybe I don't. Oh, there's one. There's an extra one. Okay, 1 second. Let me just grab that. Oh, come on.
It's gonna blow your minds, folks. Just wait for it.
Oh, okay. No, there's already something. All right, you know what? I'll have to. All right, I'll do it on here. So, I don't know if this will help, but the thing about line is that I'm gonna draw like a little box here. Is that when you put line close together and further apart, you create this illusion of shadow and light and value. So if you see a dark spot you envision something being really dark, you can translate that through line by putting line really close together, and you could do some hatching work. And then you can kind of just overlap it too if you want to make it extra dark. So it's really this, I'm not blotting anything out with color or with shade. It's really just a lot of lines. So it's this illusion. So now if I go further apart, now it creates like a different tone. So that could be a way, of trying to train yourself to see different tones with through line. You know what I mean, Ryan?
Yeah, no, that's yeah. So when he's thinking of the different values, think of them as different line breaks. So if he's thinking of
Right.
like a half tone, then maybe he's spacing lines a certain way with a certain amount of white between them. And then if he wants it darker, he'd
Exactly.
thicken those lines up and bring them in tighter.
Exactly.
And yeah, because you could do something like that. Let's imagine that this is black and white. Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Okay, we're getting into this. Hold on one second now. Now I gotta grab something. Hold on, you guys.
What you did, William. No, I'm happy to help. This is awesome.
All right, we're gonna take.
This
Sorry,
is
go ahead.
This is refreshing because I haven't been able to teach in person in a way. I don't know. This feels more like, I don't know. This just feels nice. It's been a while.
Well, this is why, yeah, I like taking the questions. Even if I don't have the answer, I want to like try to figure something out. So I'm gonna bring in William's piece into Procreate here really quick. And we're gonna try to apply some of the stuff Robert was just talking about. Robert.
Robert. That's it.
A photo. There's that guy. Okay, so we are going to desaturate this bad boy really quick. Control layers. We're just going to look at it in black and white. And William's probably like, this is so off topic of what I was asking. But see, okay, so we've removed the saturation, and this is what's great. William totally does see in value. Not that I was doubting him or anything, but when you remove the saturation from his drawing, it's a little hard to see in the monitor, in the camera, but you remove all the color, you can actually still see his value work. And that's something you kind of want to do sometimes if you're having trouble, if your color work isn't, if your figure isn't popping off your background or something like that. When you're coloring, desaturate it, look at it in black and white, and you want it to pop in black and white too. So sometimes if you take your work and you turn it black and white and it's the same gray, then you're having a value or a tonal issue, and you want to mess around with the gray levels in your colors.
Right.
So yeah, William nailed it here, which was leading me to my thought on translating this to line, because he's got the gray tones. So I'm going to lighten this. I'm going to get an ink pen going here. Look at this, Late Night Inks slipping into digital, and we're still on schedule. We're not even.
I like it.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
All right, so
yeah,
I'm gonna beef this up.
Colin just said he just backed Wirehead for a second time, so my brother can have a copy of Wirehead and the Blood Realm Giants. Colin, you are awesome. Thank you so much, man. Oh my God, I really appreciate that. Wow, I don't even know what to say. Thank you. It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Colin.
Really
yes.
appreciate the support.
So I'm just going to do this a quick job. This is zero justice. William's like, oh, I always wanted a professional inker to ink my work, but not like that.
Not like this. From the Matrix.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we've been having a running theme over on Death Curse with Rooster Puncher and Jeff and Kevin and Kayla. And it's funny you said that. The theme has been finding that quote, like that one line from a movie that just stuck with you, like that one, like the one you just said.
Oh
Like
yeah.
there's always stuff like that in a movie, and my go-to is mostly, which is from Aliens. It's when
Oh, mostly.
Ripley's talking to Newt, and yeah, so
Right.
it comes out at the worst times. Like I'll be hanging out with like my in-laws, and they're like, "Oh, did you enjoy the pie after Thanksgiving?" And I'm like, "Mostly."
Mostly. Oh
And then
God.
they're all looking at me like, "Why is he talking like that?" And my wife's like, "Just ignore him." But yeah, it's always funny. There's these little one line in a movie that has nothing to do with the movie, and it sticks with you, and you end up quoting it all the time.
I don't even remember what else, whatever happened in Matrix. I just remember not like this. As far as
All
I'm
right,
concerned, that's the whole film.
so here's my cheap shoddy job on inks. Um, and we're gonna pretend this is a furry dragon instead of fire because I don't want to play with the light on him. So he had these great shapes for this dragon. I'm gonna
Hmm.
pretend it's almost like a never-ending dragon or never-ending story dragon. It's
Looks
all
like one of those.
furry and falcory. There we go. Falcor.
Love that movie.
Um. Anyway, so we're gonna look at his tonal shifts here. So the object, just like it would in a painting, gets lighter as it goes away. So he
Hmm.
had rendering in orange here.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm
So
talking about.
and this again, this is sloppy inks, you guys. I'm just showing you like
Yeah.
tones. So you would make this almost the busiest.
Yes.
The orange was the darkest, the deepest hue he was using,
Hmm.
and therefore brought you up to here. And
Right.
you can fade those lines out and get thinner and thinner with them, or more spread out, or fewer lines as you go back on the figure into the tail. So you would do the most rendering on the face, make that the grayest
Yes.
area, the darkest, the most black. Then the secondary would be his body here, which
Right.
William had colored in the next lightest tone. He went to orange and then like an orangey yellow.
He should look at the the image from Blood Realm with Vorg the Wingless of the dragon. I do something very similar where different and
Yes.
like the lines follow the shape of the skull of how whatever the body part is, and then we go to like especially by the legs because they're further back. There's much more rendering and cross hatching on top, which creates this value, which exactly what you're talking about. But that's exactly it reminded me of that.
Yes, take a look, and a way to plug your book and have some offer some artistic value with it too.
That's it.
Good job.
Oh, always be closing, Ryan. Always.
So he did say that's fine. Hopefully we explained something to somebody there, because with this stuff sometimes I'm learning too. I'm learning how to explain it. I'm trying to learn what the artist problem really is, because
Yeah.
sometimes that's hard to translate.
Oh,
I
absolutely. Oh, I just fudged this up.
Nah, you didn't. There's no messing it up. No mess ups on late night inks.
Yeah, right. I fixed it. Actually, I just fixed your drawing. That's what I did. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, there you go. No, there you go. There's mistakes in there. That's how it works. Um, Ferris asks, Faris Jabbar asks, is there an industry standard on how inkers are taught to lay lines? There's sort of used to be, depending on the era you're talking about. Like say 80s Marvel, there was a few different ways that guys were taught things with certain tools, because a lot of guys were taught you learned in person from another inker, so you were getting direct info, almost like you guys with YouTube's now. But there would be ways that like they would have sort of almost like a book you could look at. It was like, oh, here's a bunch of the inking techniques.
Hmm.
These lines are done like this. These lines are done like that. Like they would have like, here's cross hatching, and they'd have a line like the pen is thrown this way here and this way here. A lot of old art books give instruction like that and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I'd say, I don't know, and some starting 20 years ago, it sort of just I don't know, as comics started expanding and not really being house styles anymore, you just started getting all sorts of different things. So there was a way people were taught, especially for those house styles. Like even when I started working at Top Cow, it was like, "Oh, okay, so you can do all these Danny Mickey techniques, but can you add some of these bloops to the ends of the lines, and can you do this or that that kind of gives it that Top Cow vibe that they're known for?" So there's certain things like that, but
Hmm.
nowadays, since everyone's just, oh, sorry, go ahead, Robert.
No, I just went, like that's
Mm.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh, it sounded like the launch of something brilliant, so I wanted to, give you that platform if
Well,
you had it.
we're on our way there. We're getting close.
All right, cool.
Give me some time.
But yeah, there's nowadays I wouldn't even nowadays there's no industry standard for inking, just in general,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
I mean that in a
it's
good and a bad way. So
right. Yeah, right. Exactly. I was gonna say it's like a double-edged sword because like my inking is not traditional comic book inking. It's much more aggressive and you're very much seeing the hand of the artist. But I think well, especially with Blood Rum, I think that works. The grittiness. Uh, but that's why ultimately it's funny because I kind of wanted Wirehead to have that type of traditional comic book standard, and that's why I wanted to work with Michael because I think Michael's art really has that classic uh, EC Comics rendering, and it goes to show you how certain, like you said, Top Cow has their way of wanting their artists to make their mark on the page, right? It's really interesting.
correct.
So it's funny looking at it. Just
Y-
made me think of that.
Yeah, because let's see, there's even with this one pen. Let's say you've got let's do a muscle. This is a muscle on a forearm. Forearm.
Mm,
Monster hand. There we go. So you've got this muscle that comes in here. This is always a good muscle for examples. With the same pen, you could do this with a nib or something. I could do this rendering that is these thin to super,
mm,
heavy at the base that bleeds into the black, and then almost becomes like these triangles with
mm.
these really fat lines like that. And that might work for somebody's style,
Yeah,
but
nice,
but
man.
yeah, but somebody else, it might work better. Let's see, I'm gonna do like a little bit looser of inks, and I hope this is seen as a compliment. My homie Jeff Elkins, I really like his
Yes.
inks. They're looser,
Yep.
but they're by no means sloppy. They
No.
are. Um, I tend to think of them as free,
Yeah.
where lines like this have been placed onto basically a grid, where
Mm,
there's like a certain language that kind of, for that to uniformly work, it all has to work a certain way. And then sometimes you can get a little freer, and it's going to create the same effect. And if that's your style and you're
yeah.
comfortable with that,
That's my jam.
you know, it's, I mean, look, one's not better than the other,
No,
but
it's
they're
just
different.
aesthetic.
They're totally different. So, um, yeah, I have trouble loosening up sometimes,
Mm,
and it took me a long time when I was inking Trevor Hairsine to loosen up. Like I had to use brushes that had tweaks in them,
mm.
so that I would get a less predictable line, things like that.
Interesting.
Because and I'm not trying to, that's not a backdoor brag of like, my line is just so clean, my hand's so good that I can't do it. It's
Ah,
it's the way our machines work, like I'm too rigid, I'm not loose enough.
no, sure.
Like you tend to discuss things like, and I like this, but you're like, oh, your artistic like vibe comes out on the page.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that it took me so long as an inker to realize. And whoops, there goes my Apple Pencil.
Hmm.
um
Itchy.
as an inker, Yeah, I know. Let's pick up another one tomorrow. Uh, and I'm talking purely inking other people's work. I usually
Right.
have to make a distinction because inking my own work or inking friends, that's always fun stuff. But it took me years being in the industry to realize that I wasn't being an artist, that I was only doing a craft. And not
Mhm.
that that's bad, but I wasn't getting
Exactly.
any artistic satisfaction. Like I had all this like
Right.
creation in me. Like, well, what are
Right.
you talking about? You're creating a piece of art, and it's like, it's
It's
not the
different.
same. Yeah,
Totally different. Totally different. Yeah, no,
like
uh, it's very true. You're very much that's the difference between a craftsman and an artist. Everyone's like, "Oh, what's the difference?" That's the difference right there. Ryan just literally just nailed it. You're meant to do a service, kind of. It's like it's not your artistic vision. It's you're coming in there like a, and this isn't a negative thing, but you're kind of like a plumber doing the job. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And again, there's nothing wrong with that. People who want to do that, but if you have some kind of artistic voice that you want to get out and a story you want to tell, it's I understand exactly what you're talking about.
And also, don't get me wrong. When I realized that, I was like, oh, okay. So basically, I have a cool job,
Right.
and I'm gonna use this cool job to help learn as much as I can. And
Mm-hmm.
my whole goal in going to DC, like seriously, it's so funny thinking back. So I got into comics at a time I didn't want anything to do with corporations or anything like that or big comics. I wanted to do indie comics and then ended up being part of Spawn, but I still saw that as indie. Like it was still through
Yeah.
Image, it was still a self-made millionaire who I as a child had watched go
Yes.
from artist and nobody to self-made millionaire. So
Yeah.
I still
Super
felt like
inspiring.
yeah, and I felt like, okay, cool. Uh, I'm not part of that big corporate machine, you know. And then when I went to Top Cow, I was like, this is the same thing. Cool. I'm gonna be at
Yeah.
Top Cow forever. That was my my goal is to stay at Top Cow forever. Um, and I actually felt like a sellout when I got to DC. I
Oh
had
wow.
discussions with my wife and my friends about how like this is like the end of art, going to a corporate company like this. um and then I had to realize that like, yeah, but this is a way that I can pay to make comics with Dean. And this is over 10 years ago when I first wanted to make comics with Dean. And one of the main reasons I even went to DC was I'm going to be able to make better money and some royalties or this or that, and be able to make my indie books with the friends I want to make.
Oh, there you go.
Um, and lo and behold, this still all ended up working out that way.
That's how it happens, man. Everything kind of like manages to balance out. No, it's really funny how that happens.
No, and I'm the worst talking to young creators about that because they always think because of my attitude that everything's great and fine and works out great for me and this or that. And
Yeah. No.
meanwhile, I just never tell anybody when anything's going wrong. That's just that's just
Oh
how I
yeah.
am. Like,
I mean, who would?
um,
It's when I'm, when I'm my students like they all think I'm gonna tell them all about the glory, but actually, my first presentation is how I failed and got screwed, and I
mm,
spent like 45 minutes on the rough road, and they're just like, "Whoa," and I'm just like, "Yeah," and this is gonna happen to you. You're gonna
no,
have
that's
your
good because you gotta be honest. It's weird how many teachers and artists try to paint the rosy picture of
oh,
everything.
I know it's ridiculous.
Um,
Because you know why? I'll be honest. Some of them just didn't suffer enough. I got to be honest with you. And maybe some of them aren't where they want to be because they didn't take those risks. Some of them, not all of them. But I'm just saying in like fine arts programs, I noticed, and they have
yeah,
some. They got the chip on their shoulder. I deal with some of those people.
um, I have never been so turned off talking art with people of more than fine artists.
Oh God, please.
Um,
And they
I
won't.
was even. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's literally every day. That's my every day. I talk to these people, and it just drives me crazy. Like you
Yeah,
have
it was
no
part of an art.
concept.
Yeah, it's part of an art group once, and this lady would just constantly bring up, like, basically she would say, I want to, she's like, I win the argument because I have my fine arts degree from
Yeah,
whatever.
sure. And what's
And
your
I was like,
experience, lady?
yeah.
Oh,
um,
you're a hobbyist. Oh, that's adorable. Okay, that's very cute.
I think part of it she knew I was jealous too, because I always I wanted to go to college. That was like a thing I really wanted to do, and I tried to
Hmm.
make it happen, and it didn't. So I think she was kind of rubbing it in too.
Oh, so she's a
um,
brat. Hmm.
yeah, because we'd get pretty heated arguments in this art group, or they would try to, and I was always like, why are we arguing about art? I don't care about arguing about this stuff.
Well, because that's what they do in school. I'll be honest. It's more about deconstruction. It's constantly deconstructing, 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 and after a while, you just start to deconstruct everything. You can't praise, and it's. I'm just like, guys, let's relax. I really doubt, this particular artist was. Yeah, but don't you think he was thinking this at the time? I'm like, no, I really don't. I think he was probably thinking about what's he going to eat for lunch. I mean, come on, give me a break.
Oh, that's what's funny. I have a friend who he and his dad collect and sell California Impressionist art from Southern California from the early 1900s,
Oh yeah, sure.
and it's beautiful stuff. And yeah, people get into these giant conversations like that about it, and it's always funny because you talk to my friend and his dad, and their stories are, yeah, this guy was hanging out down at the cove, and he
Yep.
liked fishing a lot, but then he started smoking a lot of weed, and he discovered painting, and then he just started painting, and then people are like, oh, but he's saying this thing about the poor people at the docks, and you're like, no, he got
No, he's
high
not.
and he liked the colors, and so he replicated the colors. That's all he did.
That's all he did. That is it. It's
He was
absolutely.
having fun, and yeah, sorry.
It's so funny how we do that. But you know what's one of my favorite things that ever happened in art history was this artist Duchamp. He was a French artist, and he called, I don't know if he coined it, but he coined his art movement. This was in the 20s, Dadaism. And the reason he called it Dadaism because he thought it was so ridiculous how critics are coming off with all these like impressionists, uh, um,
Hmm.
all these different words. And he was just like, no, we're calling this Dadaism. And what he did was in the gallery, right? He didn't, he waited for all of the art critics to come in. And as a joke, he, in the gallery, before they came in, he set up a urinal and he signed the urinal. And when they all walked in, right, they were like, "Oh my God, he's making a statement about the social political climate of the time right now," and he sat there laughing, like these fools. I put this stupid urinal out here as a joke, and here you are deconstructing it. You know, and it may have to do with the power of the setting of the gallery setting, because if it's in a gallery setting, suddenly it elevates something. But it's funny how they do that. You know. It's still in that
Yeah,
museum, by the way, which is even more hilarious.
no, good for him. I like. I always like people like that because I that's what I liked about a lot of the Impressionists too. Is that they kind of had this like punk rock angle about it, and they weren't calling themselves like
No,
special or impression. That's just what history has,
right.
labeled and grouped all of them together and stuff. I mean, obviously there were some calling themselves that, but for the
Yeah, they
most
were
part,
pretty
they
good,
were
some of those
like,
guys.
yeah. But like even like Degas and stuff, I think he was like, I don't know, call me whatever you want. So what? I use some techniques, like just
Yeah,
like I'm just an artist, and even guys like that, where he looks like such a like academic artist. I mean, I love Degas, but I'm talking like looks like he was taught at school,
right.
like his figure drawing and stuff like that. But then like yeah, he would free himself up, and people are like, oh, he's trying to do this and that, and you're like, oh my gosh, you guys, like artists have fun recreating stuff.
Oh,
Like
dude, let me
they have
tell you.
fun recreating a moment, and this it's not always about like what does it mean? It's just what it is sometimes.
There is a painting I think it would blow you away, if I showed it to you. I love doing this in my art history class because everyone thinks I'm showing them a painting from, either impressionism or, some kind of, abstract expressionist painting, and their mind is blown when I show them that the painting was actually I think the Baroque period, which is 1600 to like late 1600s, and it was a warm up piece. And it's just so crazy to see how what some of because we rarely get a glimpse to see of what these kind of artists did on their spare time, like what was
Mhm.
their warm up. And I think it's called the Bean Eater. So if someone could Google it and look it up, but I believe it's that. I have to check my notes and my slides. For some reason, of course, we're live. I can't remember the painter's name. We literally were just talking about this. How when you're live, you can't remember.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
remember his name. I don't. I teach this. I teach about this guy. I can't remember his name right now.
Karachi.
That's it. Yeah. And when you look at that painting, you're like, wait a minute, Baroque period. That's like we're getting close to realism. And like he was so loose with his brush strokes, like it's such a shame none of their process stuff really is around. That's why it's fortunate that we have Michelangelo sketches and Leonardo sketches. Who, by the way, if you want to learn how to ink the human body, oh, that's it. That's the painting. Tell me that doesn't look something like Manet or Monet. How loose those brushstrokes are, right?
Oh, it's very Manet.
Yeah,
Very, very Manet.
isn't that crazy?
Um,
That's from like 1600, and this was like his warm up. Or I don't know, or maybe this is something he did in his spare time, and but the style wasn't in because wasn't considered art. So it's just that painting always blows me away.
yeah, it's funny. That's I hadn't really compared it to comics in that sense, where the Impressionists kind of were like indie comics.
Oh yeah,
They were
definitely.
like, no, we're gonna go over here and do things our way. We don't care how the parlors are doing stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, what's really funny, I had to do a little lesson recently on abstract expressionism, and nothing's more punk rock than Jackson Pollock because they were all anti. The canvas is not a window into another world. I'm just going to splatter, and I'm going to do all that stuff.
Hmm.
And then what happens is, what destroyed their movement was when corporate buildings and corporate, in Manhattan and all that stuff were like, "Oh, this looks great in on my wall. Oh, this looks great for our advertisement company or our campaign or our marketing," and that destroyed it. It killed the whole movement because now it was being used for marketing. So, and it wasn't punk rock anymore.
That's so funny
Yeah.
and tragic for them, but it's funny too.
It's so funny how that happens. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had a point too where it was I had to let that go, like I was saying earlier about like, oh, I'm a sellout for going to work for DC, and then I was like justifying it, but like,
Oh
oh,
no.
it's okay if I'm using the money to
Sure.
make the comics I want or this or that. And then
Oh,
I got to the point where I was like, uh, dude, this is fun to work on pop culture icons. I'm glad my country has these things available that I can do this on.
yeah.
Because I had an uncle who was like, he's a big activist professor, and he used to try to kind of influence us in certain ways. And there was one day he was talking to me, and he was like, "Oh, you would love Cuba." And I was like, "I don't know about that." And he's like, "No," he's like, "There's like no advertising anywhere. There's like no billboards." And then he basically said, "All of the stuff you love doesn't exist there." I'm like, hmm,
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 I don't know
hmm.
about that now.
Yeah, yeah, I don't wanna go there, and I don't want my place to be like that place.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, it was a thing where I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay with this."
Oh, yeah. Dude, in the beginning, I used to feel that way about teaching, in the very, very beginning, like 8 years ago. And then, I realized I was like, "Wait a minute." Um, I was like, "I'm still able to talk about art from my work." That's the thing, like, I'm able to still be in the art world for my job, and then I could come home make comics. Like if I was doing something else, like when I used to be a stock boy, it was a little bit different. But now I'm like fortunate that I'm able to do this. You know?
Oh, heck yeah. I'm always jealous of teachers. That's something I wish I had done early on, was get that teaching degree, so that like I think it'd be really fun to get old and retire teaching.
Yeah, I do enjoy it, man. I do it. I really do. But I have to say that I'm also fortunate because the schools where I work, they give me a lot of academic freedom. Unfortunately, and we're not going to get into this, but it's changing a little bit now lately, where
Okay.
the academic freedom is kind of it's a little bit, in my opinion, at jeopardy. But we'll see. I hope they keep the model that they're doing and don't force us into a certain type of way of teaching, because then now it's not me, you know. But
Yeah, and students don't respond to that kind of stuff.
no, they don't.
Um, we're the No matter where you lie politically, we're all rugged individuals deep inside, and
Oh yeah,
nobody wants the like teachers don't want to be told what and how to teach, and students don't want boring teachers that don't bring anything to the lesson. They need
exactly.
uh, you know they need their
Well,
teachers to care too.
and I mean, art, academia in the old days, it was not meant to be a place where you're, you know, I don't want to use the word safe, but it's like, it's meant to challenge your thought
Oh
and
yeah.
and grow and learn different religions and theories and languages. And now when you start saying, oh, we need to add more of this, so because people are complaining, then I'm like, well, if they're com- if it's bothering them, we're doing something right. Because that's how I view academia. uh, but we'll see what happens.
Nope, you gotta have your thoughts challenged, especially from a young age.
Yeah.
That's why you can always tell when like someone was spoiled. You're like, oh, so your mom never reached back and smacked you, huh? Like
Oh
you
yeah,
can
I got a
you
lot
can,
of
you can
those.
always tell.
Oh, dude,
Um,
I get a lot of you get. Let's just say when you're college level and suddenly your mom is calling me and emailing me, I'm like, stop. Let's quit the helicopter parenting now,
oof.
because this is going to be pretty bad. Your son or daughter is 20 years old. I think I can talk to him or her.
Oof, that's rough, and that's the kind of thing too. You're like, you got to imagine like a lot of those kids, boys or girls, are just like, oh no, mom, I'll handle it, and they're like, now.
It's funny. Some of them, yeah, probably. I don't even know. Some of them aren't. But you're right. There's some of them that must be like, no, don't do this. Let me do
I
it.
think, I think I'm being hopeful. I'm hoping that there's some of them that are,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No,
that are saying that.
I'm just, I get annoyed.
Yeah, that would bug me too. Um, that's probably the side of things because it's like that thing. The grass is always greener on the other side. So I'm always like, oh, I just want to be a teacher. I just want to be a teacher. And I got my teacher friends that are like, oh, I just want to be freelance artist. And then you're like, but why? And you hear the stories, and you're like, oh, okay, all right. Which I think that goes on both ways on any job, whatever you're talking about.
Yeah,
Once you
without a
start
doubt.
hearing yeah.
Well, listen, man. I'll say that I'll offer it again live here. But once we all go back to normal, hopefully, and you ever visit New York, I'd love for you to stop by my class and maybe do like a workshop.
Oh heck yeah. No, I'm
That'd
definitely
be
down
really
for
cool.
that.
That would be a lot of fun.
All right, I'm gonna break out a different brush here, not to interrupt, but I'm gonna go for this big flat square brush and see about painting in these folds in a different kind of dry brushy way.
Oh,
Just
yeah, I would like to see what you do with dry brush. What do you
kind of
use? You use
experimental.
an old brush?
No, I'm actually because I want the different shape. This is purely experimental. I haven't used this brush or brush like this other than like acrylic painting
Mm,
in years. So I'm just gonna dry brush it up and then see if I can create some decent textures in here.
Oh,
So
I
it's
actually let me know when you start because I actually want to learn a little bit of dry brushing.
all right. I'm gonna do some tests then on
I
the
want to
second
brush it
one here.
because I never properly learned that. That's just like whenever I dry brush, it's just me experimenting and doing it on my own. So to see what like you do is
That's funny. That's all it ever is.
no
No,
pressure
sorry.
now.
No, but sorry to disappoint you. But yeah, there's not like
Oh, if it is that, then maybe I'm already doing it right. That's
I
fine.
think you're just doing it right. Yeah, the problem I'm ready to have with this is like 300 smooth
Oh, you got some more
paper.
paper there? Okay.
Yeah, so I got a paper towel here. I'm wiping up as much ink as I can, and I'm gonna test first just to see.
Mm.
It's still like it's giving dry brush strokes, but they're still pretty moist, pretty wet.
Pretty
What'd you say?
moist. You kind of said that like Sean Connery. Pretty moist.
Smack the moistness right out of that brush.
Sean Connery.
But kind of the effect I was going for was almost looks like I've used a regular brush, but multiple times. So
So
like
we're on the left,
one stroke gives you a bunch of strokes.
like that
See?
right there. That's like that's your dry brush.
No, that's just what I'm doing with this one. This is I haven't used this brush in years and
Oh,
years. So this
oh,
is
okay.
purely I'm experimenting here too. Yeah, I don't know if it's not giving me the effect I want. So I'm gonna try a different brush. We're gonna go back to a sable. I'm gonna do it's just gonna end up working the best. The synthetic brush was almost too glossy and it wasn't holding enough ink. So it would get a dry brush effect and then it would just give up. And then if I have to reload it again, it will be too wet.
Reload,
So let's see.
reload.
And I should get back to questions in a minute. We are running a little longer than usual. I hope that's okay with everybody.
Well, how long do you usually go? An hour?
I try not to go more than an hour if it just because I know a lot of times where I'm on shows where we're going pretty long. So I try not to go too long, but we're going with the flow now too.
Well, this is a
So with
special
the
occasion.
live, yeah,
Yeah,
we need to get people back in our boy Wirehead.
that's right.
We got apparently knowledge that we need to pretend we have so we can drop it on everybody.
Speak for yourself.
All right,
wow!
so
Oh, we have 151 backers, and we are now
nice.
6,548 with 4 hours to go.
Look at
Oh,
that. It's almost like it still could happen.
it's almost like it could still.
I think it could. I'm a firm believer of the last minute.
Yeah.
Like you got people coming in, you got people that didn't. There's always people, and I'm one of these people. I think I've backed something, and I'm like, cool, I backed that, and then someone's like, hey, there's only one more day, and I'm like, oh, I forgot which perk I got, and I'll go look, and it's like, there's no record of me doing that.
Oh man. Colin got my House of the Dead reference. Very nice, Colin. Thank you.
I didn't. My bad.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna dry brush for a sec. Sorry, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Oh no, I was saying it's my favorite arcade game.
And which game was it?
House of the Dead. Come on.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry, I misunderstood what you said. I thought you said something about a red. I was like, I don't know.
About
Trials of the Red.
Trials of the Red.
Yeah.
That could be
Was that
something.
in the 50s? Let's see. Colin Swinburne says, I tried being a teacher. I sucked at the uni structure. Also teaching, quote, if at first you don't succeed, give cheating a go, is not a proper philosophy.
Yes. Uni as in university, he was saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried.
Oh
yeah, he's what? He's not from here, right?
He's a Southern Hemisphere human being.
Ooh, very cool.
An Aussie. But go ahead, you tried what?
Oh no, I tried one thing I know I cannot do is is teach public school. I don't have the patience, and it's not because uh, it's that like I can't deal with the workload. It's the way
Poor
the kid.
people.
It's the way the kid. Oh my god!
That was
It's,
Ryan. That was Ryan Wynn saying that. Robert did not say that.
I get fired. Uh, it's just the kids today are just not. And I sound like an old man, but dude, high school today is like they have no fear of anything. I couldn't take it. I was like, dude, I'll do this workshop. And they're like, oh, would you like to do full time here? I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have enough stress. Because I work in the comic book industry. I have enough stress.
Oh yeah,
I don't
there's
I
enough
don't need
self-loading. You don't need to
I
add to
don't
it.
I don't need high schoolers throwing pencils at my head. 'Cause that's exactly what happened.
Oh, you know what? It looks like I'm sure Julius is gone already, but it looks like I missed a question from him way back.
Oh no.
Says I've always wanted to learn how to ink. What's the best approach to inking?
He's
The movie
crying right
Chase.
now, Ryan. He's
The
crying
movie.
Hope you can sleep at night knowing that.
Oh no, he's already given up and just bailed on life because we didn't answer the question. The movie Chasing Amy made fun of inking being tracing, but I know it's more than that. What advice do you have to start? Oh, I wish I
Well
had seen that. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
well, no, the truth of the matter is it isn't more than that, and, no, I'm kidding.
Well, I've embraced the term before. I was for years I was Tracer X on Twitter. That was my handle.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
like Racer X uh, from Speed Racer. I almost call him Speed Boy. Yeah,
Speed
Speed
boy.
Boy. Um, yeah, so yeah, advice on inking is not even because I'm running the channel, but I would say start with something like these ink-alongs. Like print up some of these heads
Oh, yeah, this is
and find the
amazing.
tutorial and like be prepared to suck. This is what I tell everyone. Be prepared to
Oh
suck.
my god.
Be prepared to suck for a long time,
Mhm.
and then one day you'll go to make a line and it'll be the way you want it. And then that second line will be the line you wanted.
That's
And
right.
then the third one you'll mess up because you're not that good yet. But that fourth one, you'll get that one right again.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and then yeah, you just slowly build up like that. So it's definitely if you don't have patience and don't want patience, don't practice inking. It's definitely requires patience from page to page and day to day, and it also requires consistency. So you need to be practicing, even if it's 15 minutes a day. If it's something you really want to get good at, break out a pen and just practice lines while you and the family are watching TV or something. You don't have
Oh,
to go
yeah,
seclude
definitely.
yourself or anything. You don't have to take away or diminish your regular life
Well,
to add
uh,
a hobby.
well, no, I'm kidding.
uh, to make it a career move or something, then we're talking. There's sacrifices,
Yes.
but here we mostly try to keep it to the like just getting
Having fun.
into to doing this, because the even if you want this to be your career thing, you have to have fun inking. It's got to be a process that you can have fun with. Otherwise, uh, your work will not translate fun. It's
Yes.
just it's just how it is. I don't know the magics of the world or what inking demon lies within us that makes us want to do this, but
Mhm.
there is something there's something to that alchemical process of taking pencil art and adding some permanence to it and making it this thing that it wasn't before. Jim
Oh,
Lee and
yeah.
Scott Williams used to talk about the alchemy of inking, and I always thought that was so cool because even in blue line, it doesn't matter. You've set up pencils and like, hey, here's this pencil drawing, and then you obliterate and destroy the pencil drawing, and it no longer exists. And it's such a cool like little sacrifice. You're like, we don't have to kill an animal or like do anything like that. We can make
We
a
don't?
sacrifice of our pencils. Well, uh, I don't want to talk about how I get my Kolinsky sables made, but
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, it's an old Russian's ass hairs. No, I'm just
that's right. Oh, 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 it's the plucking.
You went and did the voice. I love it. Oh no,
All right,
Ziplaki.
I am gonna be doing some dry brush here if you wanted to spy it.
Yes, okay.
So I go a lot of side brush, and I do sweeping moves depending on the amount of space I want to take up. So let's see, I've got this. Let me get my board up here.
So now, what makes it dry brush? It's just that it's just an old brush with some ink on it.
No, dry brush. I'm using a new brush, just less ink. It's just
That's what it is. It's just less
the
ink, right?
dry, yeah, just the dry dragging technique
Ah,
across the
okay.
board.
Thank
Here
you
on
for
this sample I was doing, like this would be considered dry inks.
right. Okay, so it's just
Where
that,
this I would not consider this dry
right. No,
brush, or not dry brush, sorry. And this, see, it starts to get dry brush. That's
yes,
breaking up.
I got you. Yeah, yeah.
So I've got this like shadowed area where the collar bends down and light doesn't hit it. And it goes from here to here.
Right.
And dry brush will give you, if you stop with dry brush, wherever you start and stop with dry brush, it'll like leave a certain mark. So
Mm,
I try to sweep. So I'm going to do technique I talk about when we do clean diamond lines is it's like landing an airplane. You come down, you hit, and then you take off again. So you land the airplane and take off is how the brush is hitting the paper. That way I'm getting nothing but the dry brush technique and effect, and not the start and stop of the brush. It's like
so
that.
so you put on pressure and then you take off.
Correct.
Oh.
Because if you don't, you're going to get these like at
Stop
the
line.
beginning and end. Yeah, you're going to get those. Where if you sweep, it's consistent. I mean, it's a little darker at the end, but it's consistent.
I dig it. Freaking wizard win.
So yeah, it's all about the movement. Yeah, I was trying to the things that people never, let's see, how to say this. It's the thing they never realize that they have to do is everything's about movement, so you have to be set up with proper posture. Like if I was relaxing on my right arm completely, like holding my body, I could only use my wrist, so my lines would be different. And some artists, they find a way and they sit, and all their lines kind of look the same.
Right.
And I don't like to do that. Obviously, even on this piece, I'm doing all kinds of different stuff. But yeah, but people think that like, oh, how do I make that line? And it's like, well, move your elbow, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize I can move my arm in different ways. That posture plays such an important role.
Oh yeah, huge role
in this.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh wow, that's awesome. So it's like sweeping.
Oops. Yeah, and I just messed up that one. But it's okay. I'm going loose on the coat so that I can mess up. Then I can try to hide it.
Doing a little dry brushing here right now. There we go.
Nice. Yeah, Spencer does a really good job with dry brush. He's just got some decent techniques. I've never actually talked to him about them, but the bride he did on the tooth episode on your draw stream the other night was killer. Her veil and everything.
Yeah, no, that was a tough thing to pull off with the veil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked him to send me his Wirehead drawing. He was like, "Oh man, I suck. Are you kidding? You want that?" So I was like, "I get it. Ryan's not confident with his either. It's okay."
Yeah, it was. It's one of those. I'm like,
I've been there.
Yeah, because sometimes on the draw stream stuff, I time it for a specific time. It's not working on the piece as a whole,
yeah.
So it's like, you're going to sacrifice some things here and there. So I'm gonna think about it with yours because I did have fun with it, and it was a fun night and a fun experience. And I do think the image is actually a fun image.
Yeah, yeah. No, dude, I respect whatever you want to do.
But yeah, I
It's
do
like,
have fun drawing this character. Go ahead.
no, no. I have to say this has been fun. I'm enjoying this.
Now, have you inked somebody else in a
No,
while or ever?
nope.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Look
so
at that, folks. We got him on the first episode.
you did. You did, man. This is it's an honor for both of us.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wasn't gonna say it's an honor, but yeah, sure. Let's just
Screw.
be nice and reciprocate the feeling. So I'm just kidding. No, it's definitely an honor. Um, I of course have been bugging you that I wanted to have you on my channel once I started having people on. So the fact that you are #1 and we get to do it on a night where we are celebrating Wirehead is
Yeah, that was
also an
awesome.
honor.
Did you already plan to do Wirehead today?
I had planned to do him a couple weeks ago, actually, and just the way things turned out, we weren't doing ink-alongs. We weren't getting it sorted out to do it. And then I was like, I got it. Tonight's the night. I got to do it tonight if I'm gonna do it. And
Oh yeah.
I was just like, I didn't get to experiment with StreamYard the way I wanted to, but we're just gonna see if I can make having a guest work. And uh, I know the chat's going to be cool with whatever we kind of work out, or they'll let us know if it's not. But it seemed to be working out. The only thing I wish I could do was share the screen and chat. The reason I can't is I'm going from mobile on this, and it's extremely simple, an extremely simplified version of StreamYard,
Hmm.
which means there very well may be a way for me to do it. I'm just too dumb.
It's all good.
Hey, we got a compliment from Simonin7. Great work on the coat, guys. All right,
Oh,
Simonin,
thank
thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Catching up on the chat here.
Yeah.
William C says, Colin, everything is beyond my skill, but I have fun trying stuff out. Get some creativity out. Well,
Oh
that's
yeah.
firstly the most important thing, and that's the thing Robert and I are always stressing. Just get pen to paper, marker to paper. Secondly, William, your stuff rocks, brother. I love your work. I think we need to have, not only do we need to teach more inking, we need to teach more confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin loves how different these look, even though they were off the same pencils.
I don't know. Were
Yeah.
these yours looks a little different? No, is it a different drawing?
No, mine was the same file. I went in and drew a little bit, like when we were chatting before we went live. I went in with a pencil because it printed up kind of light, so I might have changed
Oh,
a
okay,
few shapes here and there. Done a few different things.
gotcha.
Um, but yeah, and I went for a little different approach on mine than I did last time. But now that I'm seeing you went for the forehead shadow reflection, I'm like, oh, yeah, I think mine's lacking that now.
Well, you had that there already, so I got to give you credit for that.
No, I know, but there's the artist choice of leaving, or that's the thing. I encourage people to do their own thing. They can leave stuff or add stuff, and I
Oh,
left it out of this choice, and now I'm thinking it's a weaker choice because the black against the white of the brow really pops the eyes out, that whole
it really
space
does.
more.
Oh, you did a killer job with this, man. I have to say, a lot of people love it.
Pedro saying the thing that I hesitated to say. I know he heard me hesitating to say it too.
What?
But there it is. It's on
Pink
screen for you.
delicious.
In the back of my head, I honestly thought it's either gonna be Spencer, Jeff, Pedro, or Colin. They're gonna say that, and it was Pedro. It's one of my 4 choices.
One of my 4 choices.
Hey, sci-fi for me. Thanks for stopping by, Jason.
Hey,
Always
what's up?
awesome to see you, buddy. He says we had a show called Ink Tips for a while. Might be time to bring that back. Hey, I know a couple dudes that would be more than honored and happy to stop by, do that every once in a while. He's like, wasn't an invite. He's like, I'm just inviting Robert myself everywhere.
He's just gonna leave now. Chat like, well, this is awkward. This is a little weird now.
Hey, look at this. More inspiration from Geronimo. Colin says, I am working on a teeth picture too.
Oh,
But sadly, what I was trying to do is way beyond my skill. Go for it
okay.
anyways, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Gotta take that risk.
And William C says, okay, I just tweeted out my non-ink Wirehead. Oh boy.
Non-ink?
Let's head to the Twitters, folks. Let's see what this is.
My non-ink?
Non-ink. Let's see. Oh boy. Oh boy. Robert, check out this bad boy by William C.
Oh, that looks awesome. Nice, dude.
So non-ink because he was going to go charcoal. Looks like charcoal and pastel.
Oh, I dig it.
This is badass.
That's cool.
Wow. The colors are not translating, let me tell you. So later we'll be
color?
retweeting this, and yeah, it's fully it's color. He's got greens and golds and umber. There's an umber in the coat that comes up to this green. It's underpainted with an umber on the head. It's just not translating on the camera very well, but it is full color, beautiful stuff, William.
Oh, damn.
And he beat us.
He did beat us.
He beat us. Dude, that's awesome.
That looks sick.
I'm leaving that image up on my desk for a little bit. That was super rad, William.
I can't wait to see the colored version. Yeah,
Metatron's Cube agrees. That is awesome. All right, Sci-Fi's up for it. He says, definitely open to collaborations. I'm not an inker myself. Been a long while since I drew seriously. That's just because he draws jokingly all the time.
Oh, I get it.
And sorry, the bad jokes are coming out at 1 hour and 36. We got Eric Housel bringing in the chorus of Inks Come Out at Night, mostly. Now there's my sticker.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. And
I'll give you that.
You know how to answer. You know how to answer this, Rob.
Did Ryan treat you gently? He was very delicate,
yes,
and I really appreciate how delicate he was. I'll never forget it.
Clip it. Clip that right there. We'll make that a
weird.
And simming in with your mother's a tracer.
Your mother's a tracer, you bastard.
Oof, and then you have Colin that brings the dark humor swing from down south Aussie. Ooh, no, my mother is ash, which is now used as pigment. Oh, so dark. So dark.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one who does that.
Ash Realm by Roger Geronimo.
Oh, you did it. You did it. You did it. Son of a bitch, you did it. You did it. Holy God.
I don't even do a mashup. It doesn't even come out as Geronimo or something. It's just, this is a complete wrong name, and it's so dumb.
I don't know. There's someone that is in your memory that's creeping, and they want to come out. And clearly, I'm triggering it. You must have knew a Roger in your past life.
I don't know. Must have hated a Roger. No, I mean, must have yes. We have Dark Admiral March Hare has shown up.
What's up?
Ahoy March. Yes.
I haven't seen March in a while.
Anyone that... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Unless he's just avoiding my streams, March. What the hell, man?
He only comes out in March.
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly. All right, and Ferris says it has a semi-dry brush look. That's actually a proper term. And yeah, because especially when I start getting dry brush, it ends up getting semi-dry brush. So I go dry brush and then after I dip again, it's back to wet brush, and then it dries out and it's back to dry brush.
Oh,
So I'll bounce around with it a little while, or a little every once in a while. Well, thank you, Dark Admiral March Hare says, looking great, gentlemen.
oh, shish. Thank you.
And he says that he's not getting notifications a lot of the time. I'm not either.
I don't get anything. I don't know what's going on. Oh, creepy.
Yeah. I almost never get a notification for any of the channels I've actually hit that for. I don't even count on it anymore. It just seems like, yeah, it's not gonna work. I'll just miss some streams, I guess.
What can I do here?
Ferris is talking about Scott Williams doing a with the blockier lines and the dry brush. I see. Yeah, that's yeah, he does those chisel lines. I love doing chisel lines.
Chisel.
And those, Ferris, can be made thusly. First, we gotta get the ink on my brush. Been using a marker the last little bit, and then using the big brush for dry brush. So I gotta get my regular brush out. All right, this is the size 2, and yeah. So you're gonna, for the chisel lines, you're gonna want to drop that brush back between your knuckle, or below your knuckle, between your thumb and your forefinger, back like this. And you want the brush at kind of an angle like that, like the flatter the brush is laying, the more chisel line you can get out of it. So Scott Williams does these bad boys thusly.
Oh, wow. Like that sharp stuff.
Yeah, and you can create your shapes out of it, bend it around, and then, like I said, it's drying up on me, but even the more you lay it down, the more ink and the thicker it gets. And then now it's drying out on me. But yeah, chisel lines, I love creating these. I've only had a few artists that really knew how to set me up for those, and that comes from using the side of a pencil to shade your work. So like Will Stratasio, David Finch, guys like that, they'll sometimes take their pencil like this, hold it like this, and shade with the side of the pencil, and you get these blocky lines like that, and they set you up really nicely to go in and kind of mimic them with a brush.
Yeah, Dave.
And it's just yeah, this is almost the opposite of the line I was talking about earlier, which is landing the airplane and taking off again. This is the opposite of that. It's a hard start and a hard stop. And you get that hard stop, and this goes back to usual lesson on my channel, is we line up our shots. So we want our line to stop here on this X. We'll do another one here. So that's where we want it to stop. We bring our brush over, we'll line up there, bring our arm back, and then go to meet our line. And it's much easier to stop where you want to stop if you start off there. So it's you start where you want to stop, you'll pull back, and then throw your line. Boom. And that'll teach you how to stop sharp, basically.
Nice.
And yeah, I just yeah, that's but in my inking, you don't even see me do it. Like, you just see I do this like shaking. My hand looks like I'm shaking a lot, even though it's all clean lines, but I'm basically lining up where my shot's going to be each time, like no matter the line. So
cool.
That's how Scott Williams gets a lot of those effects, and how a lot of us learned from him.
That's how he gets the ladies.
That's right. He's thrown that brush around the convention, you get all them girls.
Oh my God! Do you make hard lines as a matter of
Oh no, baby, I'm a dry brusher. Oh, that works too. That's as risque as we're gonna get tonight. Don't worry. Ferris asks, how did Scott Williams come up with his style? Yeah, it's funny, if you ask Scott, he'll just say it's or at least he used to just say that it's just the classic Marvel style, that he's just slightly interpreted it in his way, which is true in a sense. He was looking at guys like, just how John Buscema and Frazetta handled things. If you look at Scott's early inks on Jim Lee, they're softer. They look a little bit more like Frazetta, John Buscema. Mark Silvestri and them, they were all trying to do the same thing. Just kind of came out in its own way. And yeah, Scott just kept pushing that style, and his thinking, his approach, at least what was told to me by Danny Meeke and those guys, it was do what the guy 10 years before did, but do it a little bit cleaner. To make your thins a little thinner, make your heavies a little heavier, be a little more stylistic with it. And it was a sort of a challenge then. Then other inkers started seeing like, oh, do you see the way Scott started cleaning up his inks? And he started making these taking a little extra time to do these beautiful secondary hatches on things. And it was basically the same thing people do in music and sports. Which is why it's kind of hard to compare over time periods with people. It's like Kobe was a different beast than Michael Jordan, but Kobe happened because Michael Jordan existed, like his play style and things like that. And you got the same thing in music and comics and stuff like that. So Scott will very humbly say that he's just another, inker in the line of things, but he very much kind of forced America and the world to step up their inks.
So he's got a great way of making his mark on the page.
Yeah. And he found that penciler that they worked really well together. They had similar influences and had similar goals.
Yeah.
And that worked out great for Scott. At least I think. Again, we never know. He might hate it. He's like, I hate superheroes. I hate inking.
I want to be a college teacher.
Yeah, but I don't think so, because again, you can see the fun in his line and the fun he has in his work.
Definitely.
And of course, Rooster's trying to bring us down a class level.
Oh boy.
The bottom shelf. They like it when you twist the tip. Oh my gosh. All right. There's no bad words, so I felt I could say it. All right. All right, cool. I'm always glad Ferris comes at me with really great questions. Really great questions that either are about technique or art philosophy or art history. And so if I can get his question answered properly, I always feel like I've had a successful episode.
Oh, wow, very nice.
Pedro's ink hookups on HBO. Excellent. Sci-fi for me, phrasing. Oh, this is a good quote from D. Hausner. 50% of the time, it works every time.
Nice. So whenever I sketch in my sketchbook, I always encourage my students to also use ink, because if you use pencil, you're never going to finish it. So my go-to, I had this fountain pen for about 5 years. It's a Safari Lamy, or Lamy Safari. Highly recommend it. You could get it off of penchalet.com, CHALET. The reason I picked this disgusting color is because when I lose it, which I often do, I could always spot it in a room, because it sticks out like a sore thumb. Because a friend of mine bought a black one and she lost it, I think within a month, because she couldn't find it and it was pitch black, and that was it. So I buy the disgusting neon yellow, and the ink I use is Noodler's ink. You can't use this stuff in there because it'll clog the converter. So this is for those of you who don't know how these things work. You put your ink into this thing, your converter here, but you want special fountain pen ink. I use waterproof. Um, you don't want this stuff in there. It'll clog it all up and dry it up, and then you have to get not only a new converter, but you got to get a new nib and really put this thing under hot water to clean it out. But I highly recommend Safari Lamis. I think it's about $24, but I've had this for 5 years, going on 6. It's great. It's a great little pen to sketch with, and I take it wherever I go. And get the disgusting color.
I might have to try one of those out.
Oh, these are great, man. You would really love this, and you'd be surprised with the line weight you can get. I think I get the very fine. Yeah, that's extra fine tip, extra fine nib. Safari Lamis, man, I love them. They're really great.
I'm gonna be trying out all your supplies.
Yeah. Rob, is that the same toothbrush you use, or do you have more than one? So yeah, you have to. The ink has to be on your teeth as well. That's the trick to being a good comic artist. You need to taste it. You need to taste the ink every day.
I used to jokingly switch out people's coffee cups with a cup of ink.
Oh, dude, that is awful. Like, did they die?
No. I did it a couple times, and it was the thing I washed. I would be washing my brush out in it. I was like, "Oh, were you drinking this?" They'd be like, "Oh, dude." I'm like, "Oh, bummer." And then I'd just pull out the real coffee, and they'd be fine.
I was gonna say, like, it's like, yeah, just a couple of people died from poisoning, but it was funny.
No. I probably would have done that at a certain age. Really messed with some of my friends, but
wow.
no. Danny Mickey used to do a thing at the Extreme Studios when he was working for Rob Liefeld and Youngblood and stuff, where someone would leave the room, they'd go and make a Xerox of the page they were working on, put it back on the desk, and spill ink all over the Xerox.
Oh my god!
And then wait for the person to come back and freak out.
That's actually phenomenal.
It's really funny because it's nobody hurt. It's a total, like, just, I don't know, it's a pure prank, I feel like.
Oh my god, I don't even know how I'd react to that. I would probably have a heart attack.
Where if I had poisoned someone as a young age, that would have been not a pure prank.
That would have been intentional.
No, but that's why I think the washing of the brush in it always worked. I thought that was funny. Obviously, it was not their coffee. I would just get a similar mug.
I don't know about you, Ryan.
They'd still get pissed. They'd get pissed, and then a second later, they're like, "All right, give me my coffee."
Because then now they get a little used to it too. He's doing that thing again. I'm on to you.
And then my editors would wonder why they hired me and invited me to the office in the first place. All right, we got a few more questions. I see a Razmaz in the chat. Oh, he's the one that asked you about the toothbrush. Awesome.
Yes, he did.
Pedro says, "It is a horrible pen, Rob, but I see your logic." Oh.
Yes. Meaning what does he mean, the pen to write with, or does he mean the color?
I don't know. He probably means to write with.
Really? Well, he said see your logic, so maybe he means the neon color. Is it disgusting?
I see what he means.
Yeah. I know. All my friends too. They're like, "Oh, he's taking that friggin' thing out. I only put my sunglasses on." I'm just like, "Yeah, but you know what? How many of you lost?" I still got mine. It's like in Seinfeld. It's the same pen, still works. Every time I take it out, they're like, "Oh God, there it is."
Nope. I do appreciate the pen of a different color, though.
Yeah.
I got a black rug here. Everywhere except for my desk is dark.
Oh yeah,
lights on my desk. So
you will never lose it. Get the hot pink disgusting one, man. Oh my god, you'll thank yourself because you'll be like, I can't find the pen, and everyone's like, well, what does it look like? It's really hot pink. And like, oh, there it is.
It hurts the eyes. Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's that disgusting thing. That's it. There she is.
Let's see. We got a question from Ferris. He says, Ryan, would you ever consider doing a breakdown video of Brian Boland's Sergeant Rock? Yes, I would. I would probably need to find new copies or see if there's some sort of like an artist proof or something. Like if IDW's done something with the originals on that. I doubt they have. I don't think anyone's dove into Brian Boland stuff like that yet. Even his Killing Joke stuff would be fun to go over. That was super influential to me as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny too. That story, so dark and twisted, but at the same time, as a kid, I was so into the art that it was the coolest thing. It was like, oh yeah, this girl gets shot in the lower abdomen and loses her ability to walk and stuff, and it's happens like, it's Barbara Gordon gets shot in front of her dad. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And I'm sitting there like laying on my stomach on a Saturday afternoon with my feet up, in the air, like
this art's amazing.
His Batman's so cool, man. Oh man, so cool.
Is it blasphemy if I say that I'm not a big fan of that book? But I love the art, but I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm not a huge. I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, do you love that? Do you love that book? I love the art.
Yeah, it's good. It's really, really dark and uncomfortable. I don't like the uncomfortableness in it. I like dark, like I like my slasher movies and stuff like that. But as far as dark topics, that one's a little heavy for me.
That's why you don't like it, because I just felt like it was a little. I don't know. I just didn't want an origin of Joker. Remember when I read that, I was like, oh, so he was a comedian?
Oh, in that sense, see, it was weird. I always felt like it was an Elseworlds tale, even though it wasn't. It always felt like it was its own thing to me, and
I didn't know
that. It may be continuity. I always thought of it as like, this doesn't work with my Joker.
Yeah.
So
right.
this is a separate Joker kind of thing. Yeah, but I liked it. I don't know. People always get mad at me because I'm not an Alan Moore head.
Yeah.
I love tons of what he has done, and I've read almost everything.
Sure.
But like, I don't know. People always get mad because like Watchmen didn't do it the same way for me, even though part of it is that I didn't read it till like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it was, I knew a bunch of the twists just from pop culture, comics, people talking, I kind of knew a bunch of things that were going to happen in it. So I think a lot of that was lost on me, but it didn't stop me from understanding that this was something I'm not capable of. Like, this is a feat of writing on a specific level that's, it's beyond what I can do. It was just, I just didn't like love it. It felt like it was homework to create, and it felt like homework to read.
Right.
And I was like, oh no.
I literally almost had a heart attack. I was like, oh my God, did I forget to extend the campaign? But we have 3 hours left.
Oh my gosh. Feel free to go ahead and do that right now if you want, or if you're waiting for a specific time. You'll feel so nice when that hours turns back into days.
That's true. Did it work? No.
It'll take a minute. Just like sometimes when you have a backer, it'll show the backer but not the monetary amount right away.
I see. Do I have to go to I see. Do I have to go to I see extension on the bottom and then extend by 60? Is that it? 60 days?
Yes, there you go.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was like add another 30. Save and continue. Save changes. Don't you play with me. Okay, I think. What?
Razman says, upside down Wirehead walks thanks to his metallic tendrils.
Oh, God.
Excellent, Razmaz. And Ty Ion, or however he pronounces his name, says, I literally call my trade of Watchmen the textbook.
It's a textbook.
Yeah, it is.
It is a textbook.
And you can learn from it. I don't mean to be dismissive of it at all. It is an amazing feat on everyone's parts. I even love what's his name's colors throughout the book.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name. John something.
I don't remember it either.
And Ferris says it is now showing 30 days left.
Yeah. All right, it worked.
There you go. Look at that. So look at that. Wirehead has 30 days and they've already hit 81%. That's awesome.
I know. I have to say, I never expected such a crazy turnout the first day.
Incredible. I have to take credit for this, and those of you in the chat, it's all of you guys too. We can all take credit for this amazing feat.
I know. Actually,
go ahead.
Actually, while they're here, they're going to find out that. So I just added new bonuses, or perks rather. So I'll announce everything tomorrow. But there's a Blood Realm shirt that is now available that I sold out twice when I did 2 printings of the shirt. So it's a print from the series when Lycurgus is facing the old beasts, and I think it's like one of the first couple of pages in volume 1. So that's
there we go.
There it is. Oh, you got it there. Yeah. So that was probably my most popular shirt. So I figured, you know what? Let me put on the campaign so Blood Realm fans can get that again. So that's available, and a digital edition, and also I'm going to be printing a fan art booklet. You could call me anything. John Higgins, that's it. John Higgins. Thank you, Shogun.
All right. Don't let us distract you. You're telling us about something cool here.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, this is what Peter does. He puts up the comments. I can't resist. I just start reading them.
All right. We'll hold off. Will you explain this the next part of the campaign you were just about to?
Yes. So there's going to be a fan booklet that's going to be free with the featured perk, and there'll be an add-on for $5. I'm going to do a really cool newsprint edition of all of the fan art that everyone has done so far. So far we have up to about 16 works of 16 pieces, because I have to say, people have been drawing Wirehead, and I'm blown away by what people have been doing. I think the latest was Replicant, and I was like, holy God, this, and Pedro did one, and I just felt like it's too good to not have the readers have it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I do know what you mean.
Yeah. So
that Replicant piece was amazing.
It was kick-ass. And Jeff Elkins did a killer piece. So I can't wait. I'll be revealing it tomorrow, but it's definitely free with the featured perk. So those are the new perks that I have. Oh, and also there's a digital edition, because some people said they couldn't afford the shipping and they wanted to support. So we have the digital edition as well on there.
Okay, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be the first place I get some of these people's works in print too. I have no Pedro Eng artwork in print. You know, like he does fan art, and he does sketch longs and draw longs, and he's doing his own stuff, and it's all digital. You know, that's how I have his stuff. So it's going to be really cool to have that, Jeff's work, everyone's work.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put your print in there, the one you did, this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be putting the prints that would be in there too. It's going to be really cool.
All right, I'm going to just distract you with compliments now.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, I'll read them now. Yeah. I want the shirt. Oh, thank you, Ferris. Oh, cool. Thank you. The shirt too. I want that shirt, Ferris. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really love that one. Thank you, Hoodoo TV. Thank you. Can't wait.
Yeah, welcome Hoodoo. John's a good old friend of mine. Goes back to the Valiant days. They do a great show over there.
Awesome.
Really great guy. Yeah, I'm going to be doing their show tomorrow night, actually,
Oh,
5 p.m. Pacific or 5:15 Pacific, before we do our Friday the 13th drawn to death. Friday the 13th draw-a-thon over on Death Curse. I will be on with John and the boys over on Hoodoo. So be sure to check us out there, everybody.
oh, yeah. I'd love to be on Hoodoo as well if he'd have me one day.
I bet we can make that happen. I'll
Very
talk to
cool.
him I'll slide into his DMs and see what happens.
Yeah.
Hey, check this one out.
Replicant's piece maybe want to make another one. Oh, awesome, Pedro. Well, if you do, man, let me know. I'll put it in the booklet. The booklet, the cover of the booklet's looking great. 7on7's a great looking character. Thank you so much.
And then we got a question for you.
On a serious note, Rob, do you know the work of Yupa Studios? No, I do not. But I would love
UPA
to.
Studios.
Oh, yeah, I said Yupa. Yupa, Yupa.
Yupa.
7on7 talk about Wirehead. It's one of those that seems like they have been there forever, but nobody did it before you.
Yes, that's exact. He said it so much better. I've tried to say that about it, and it sounds like I'm insulting it, where it looks like it's this classic thing that should already exist.
Hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like you copied anything. It looks like you're like, almost in my head, I remember Wirehead from when I was a kid or something. Like, it's got
wow.
that feel to it. And it's hard to express that. And that was a good way thank you. Who's that, Simonin?
Yeah. Well, that's an honor.
There we go.
Wow. Thank you
One
so
of those
much.
things that seems like that have been there forever, but nobody did it before. Yes. That's a great compliment.
Wow, I'm honored. Thank you.
Hoodoo TV says we can make that happen. I think you guys would have a lot of fun talking.
That'd be great.
John's a great guy. I absolutely love those guys, so I'm glad that can work out.
I'll send him. I'm sure he's on Twitter, right?
Yeah. I can make a connection for you guys.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I was going to fill you in, but Pedro here has filled you in. The UPA, which is what is it? United Productions of America.
Mm-hmm.
They did Mr. Magoo and Gerald McBoing, but they did a lot of experiments. One was animating Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart.
Oh. Okay.
And I'm gonna pull up some art from that Telltale Heart.
Yeah, because he just said that an animated version of Wirehead with that style would be cool.
Yeah, it's a simpler version. I can't wait to get operating so I can screen share properly and stuff like that. But here's a piece of art from it.
Oh wow! Oh, that would be awesome.
It's a little dark. I was just scrolling through the images here.
I dig it. I would love that. Pedro, make it happen. Call them up.
Yeah. There's some cool stuff there. The UPA guys were off the wall and experimenting. So much great stuff.
They're not around anymore?
No, I think they were it was like studio that ran in the not mostly actually. They lasted till the 70s, it says here. Yeah, I was going to say 40s and 50s, but yeah, they lasted up until the 70s.
Well, let's resurrect that company and let's get Wirehead going.
Yeah, there's so many great animation techniques that you can do. Something I'm actually going to be probably talking to Pedro about is I want to take. Do I have it handy here? Yes, I do. I want to take our short story it came out on a Wednesday, our Gods and Gears story.
Mm-hmm.
It's 12 pages, but I want to do like a simple anime style animation of it, which would mean like a lot of stuff like there's barely movement. They'll animate on the 2s or 3s, which means the frame holds for 2 or 3. An image holds for 2 or 3 seconds, so it's a little slower on the movement or seems a little stiffer. But but there's some cool techniques you can do and really simplify the process, and especially because the comic is already drawn out and we'd just be taking those shots and animating from them. But that's something I'm gonna be working on for next year, is turning this story into an animated short. But you know, that's neither here nor there. That's next year. We got Wireheads to sell and Hammerellas to throw around first. So
that is true. We getting there. All right, a little finishing touch on this bastard.
yeah, I think I'm calling mine here. It's all dry now. I was gonna pull out some Zipatone, and then I remembered that I need to go shopping for Zipatone. I have only little scraps left. It's really sad.
Oh, never used that. I would love to.
I think you would have a lot of fun with it, since you like tonal work so much. Yeah,
I do. My
yeah,
page
you
is
can
curling up.
you can kind of like color with it. Nice.
I would love
You know,
that.
in the same way you thought of like using like tone and color as lines, like breaking it up that way.
Hell yeah.
With the dot patterns and the gray tones and things like that. It's pretty fun. It's just expensive stuff. That's
oh, is it expensive? I'm not
yeah.
surprised. I guess I should have expected that. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions before? I guess we're gonna close soon, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna be wrapping in a few minutes, but we wanna make sure we get everyone's questions. Yeah, clutch cargo. I haven't thought of clutch cargo in a long time, Pedro.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for coming in and stopping by. This is awesome.
Yeah, you know, we didn't announce it till tonight, so I didn't know if we were gonna catch everybody, but we got a bunch of regulars. We got a bunch of people I don't see in here that often. That's been awesome.
That's great.
Let's see. William wants me to zoom in on how you did the mouth and the line grid. Yeah, I got a little experimental with that. I'm gonna unmount the camera and we can go in and look here. So I almost did it like he's got a hollow. It's like hollow in his mouth. Like there's wires coming across on the side, but then it's almost like the mouth itself is hollow. Like
yeah.
And I kind of picture the speaker of his voice or whatever being in the back and echoing like it's coming out of like a metal can.
I'm actually gonna add a little bit what you did there.
So it's like,
my name's Wirehead. I'll be your server today. How can I help you?
How may I help you? Allow me to assist.
Yes.
Oh man,
it's cool to see. You can go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say it's so cool to see the different styles of inking.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Two totally different feels, approaches, from the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. It's amazing how that could happen.
Razmat says the mouth is a cheese grater. Oh, for sure.
Well, that was really the purpose of Wirehead. It was to grate cheese. This way you didn't have to do it yourself.
See, but that leads me to so I've been having kill scenes in my head lately. I watched a bunch of Friday the 13th for Halloween, and then been excited about Wirehead. So so what you could have is somebody's in the kitchen cooking. They're going to be making some nachos or something, and they got their block of cheese out. They're ready to do that. They turn around, and Wirehead's grabbed them, and they have the block of cheese, and they're trying to push him away, but they're grating the cheese on his mouth. So as they're pushing it away, his cheese grating's flying off the sides.
Dude.
He crushes them.
That's some twisted stuff, man. That's awesome.
Thank you, Pedro. Yes, Pedro. My name is Wirehead. I'll be your server. This is a special penne arrabbiata.
Oh, God.
I always think of what's his name, the comedian. He has a great penne arrabbiata joke that I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Oh, man.
Faris Jabbar asks, what paper is Rob using?
I'm using regular printing paper, unfortunately. I didn't have any. That's why it's buckling up over here.
Dude, that's still awesome. Because see, look at what you created that looks ready to go to print. and you just did it on copy paper.
Yeah, this is regular copy paper.
Razmaz, are you faster at digitally inking? If so, how much? Now, do you do both or either?
I use digital inking for cleanups or edits.
Okay.
I try to do as much as I can traditionally.
Now, are you faster when you ink digitally? I know you prefer traditional and you like that tactile thing, but are you faster digitally?
I am faster traditionally.
Oh, look at that. Now, why do you think that is?
I think because it's a good point. Why am I faster? I don't know. Maybe it's just the feel of the paper and the brush.
Do you feel like you're more decisive? Like you make like quicker, cleaner decisions because you don't have the option to jump back, so you've got to be more confident in your decisions and.
Yeah, I'm not crazy careful when I traditionally ink. It's weird, but I'm extra careful with digital because I feel like, all right, now I'm going to touch this up. I make sure this is perfect. And I get too wrapped up in making it perfect. Whereas when I ink, I'm like, all right, I got my foundation drawing here. Let's just go for it. And then obviously, like you guys, like you saw here, I was careful. I took my time, but I really let it happen. Wow, that looks cool. The neck is freaking awesome on yours, dude.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I was just doing a quick pass while you.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah, I'm faster digitally, but it kind of depends on the piece. I am faster when I'm doing sequential pages because I tend to overthink if I've got the board for some reason. I overthink on that, like I over noodle. Where there's something about when I'm working digitally on my interior pages, like I lay everything out. I should be fair. I lay everything out in my sketchbook. That's my cheat, and then I take snapshots of those, drop them into Procreate, and I'll actually, like you've discussed before, you blow up your original gesture drawing and draw over that, so you get that same energy. So I do that a lot, which I think that speeds me up digitally, just because I don't know. I just grew up working slow on light boxes, and when I got to doing digital, it was like, oh, I don't have to switch paper. Like I eliminated all the like physical time of moving things around. So I think that's what makes it quicker for me.
That makes sense.
Because I would just like layer up. Like I'd end up putting like 3 pages and like a drawing the form and then the gesture and all this or that, and and I'd always like have these piles of stuff, and it just I still have that. I just have less now because I do half digital, half traditional. Add some mail-in eyebrows with 2 strips of paper. That's pretty funny.
Why is that what he does?
Well, no, because John doesn't have eyebrows. So
John doesn't have eyebrows?
No, Malin's got these little eyebrows everyone always makes fun of him for.
What? I didn't even know that.
I think he means like put fake paper ones over that, like John would. No, he doesn't like. From what I understand, he doesn't like bacon or eyebrows.
He doesn't like bacon or eyebrows?
Yeah.
Dude.
Whenever I tune into a stream, he's talking about how bacon's overrated.
Wow.
All right.
That's quite a claim.
Where were we last you looked on the Wirehead campaign?
We were 150 something backers.
151. Okay, so we're still there. 151, 65, 48.
We're so close, my lord. Woo.
Yep, so close. What are we looking at? 1452.
Yeah?
That's all you need.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
That'll be no time.
That's
no time.
I know.
I'd like to even see, I'm going to keep checking back in through the night. I want to see it get funded before the extension goes into effect. Now that it's so close, I feel like a bunch of people are going to be hopping in tonight. We should let you get over to Twitter to do some promotion too. Remind people that even though it's extended, let's see what we can make happen tonight.
Oh yeah. I think let's see, what are we at again? So even if we get to 6,600, we're like 50 away from that.
So close.
I know. But this has been great already, I have to say. I was freaking out. You guys saved
All
the
right.
day.
Well, you're gonna make it. This is there's no freaking out on the Ink Kings channel, brother.
Relax. Relax.
Everyone's always calm and cool here, even when the fires are coming. So
All right.
you can relax and know that this is definitely going to happen. We're going to get you on some other people's channels. We're going to have some fun tomorrow night. You're joining us over on Death Curse tomorrow night, are you not?
I'm supposed to be on Mandy Summers.
Oh, that's right.
So
go ahead. What time are you doing that? Promote that.
It's supposed to be at 8:30. So obviously, once it's over, if there's enough room, I'll definitely pop in.
All right. Yes. I'm sorry I'm going to miss you on that. Mandy Summers is great. She's always doing great promotion for people, and I guess she's really doing this open mic thing now. So that's going to be awesome opportunity. I'll catch the replay for sure.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on the rerun, there is a link below for Hammerella, but we got a little time on that. What I want you to do first is go back Wirehead. I want Wirehead funded and done so that I don't have to worry about it. Okay. They have a print like this that I've colored for them. They have other awesome prints by so many of our favorite artists and friends. Christian Rossi comes to mind first. All kinds of great stuff over there. They only have about 1,500 to go, so let's make it happen for our homie Robert and our homie Mike and our new homie Wirehead, who we're going to be very nice to in hopes that he doesn't crush our heads.
That's right. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
One more question here.
Rob, are you doing Tucci's show? I went on Tucci's show. You and I went a while ago, but I'd love to go back.
Did. They are booked up the next couple of weeks. I know that, but since you've got 30 days, you might want to reach out to them now and see about booking a couple of weeks out. Because it'd be fun to get on there, and even if you're booked by then, it'll be fun to help you push for those stretch goals and stuff like that.
Okay, that's good.
We got one more here from Ferris. It says, does Wirehead have a Facebook page? A Facebook page is really great to market work.
No, but I will definitely think about it. I'm not a Facebook guy, but you never know.
I'm not either, but it's something I started considering, that even just for promotion of Gods and Gears materials, that it might be wise to do. We can look into that together maybe.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
And then Jason pops in again from Sci-Fi for Me TV. Go follow them over on YouTube. Great pop culture material, content. Couldn't think of the word content. And across the board content, not just comics, not just costumes. It's like everything about everything. So go ahead and check them out. Also, he's got some interviews with both Rob and I. So go ahead and check those out on his Live from the Bunker playlist.
Absolutely. Definitely.
All right. Well, we are going to call it. It is 2 hours, 22 minutes in. This was our first live episode with a guest. I can't thank the beautiful Geronimo, Roger, as I really want to call him, but we're going to keep it to his birth name, Robert Geronimo. Thank you for joining us, brother. He's the creator of Blood Realm at Alterna Comics, and he currently has Wirehead going for another 30 days. They only got 1,500 to get funded, and then all the goodies are going to start rolling in. So go ahead and check that out. Check him out tomorrow on Mandy Summer Show. Check me out tomorrow on Hoodoo TV and Death Curse for the Friday the 13th draw-along or draw-thon, draw war, whatever it is. We're drawn to death over there. So until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take it easy.
Take care, guys.